Hey, this is Tim Coleman. This is a little sense of humor, maybe not yours, but I love this joke I just heard. This woman comes into Trader Joe's or grocery store, and she says, I want some broccoli." And the greengrocer kid looks at her and says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we're out of broccoli, and we'll have some tomorrow morning, though." And so she says, "Okay, thanks," and she walks away. And then a few minutes later, this woman comes back to the grocery store and she says, "Hey, could I have some broccoli?" And the same kid answers her question, says, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't have any broccoli today. We'll have some tomorrow, though, and you can definitely get some then." And then she goes away again. A few minutes later, she comes back into the store and she says to the same guy, she says, "Can I get some broccoli, please?" And he looks at her and he says, "Can you help me with something?" And she says, "Sure." And he says, can you spell cat as in catastrophe?" And she goes, "Yeah, I can, C-A-T." And he says, "Great. Now, can you spell dog as in dogmatic?" And she goes, "Sure, D-O-G." And then he says to her, "All right, so can you spell fuck as in broccoli?" And she says, "There isn't any fucking broccoli." And he says, "That's what I've been trying to tell you." No, that's funny on a couple levels, right? It's just like, it's on the one hand, it's like this really fun joke on its own. But on the other hand, it gets you into this little awareness, the way humor can, of being able to see the habitual way our mind works in extreme, like somebody who just can't pick up the cue that that this person just couldn't get it in her head that there was no broccoli today. But the other part is just the part of us that's always picking up the same idea and trying to make it work out there. It's just the way mind works. And I found it to be funny in another way too, just the assumption set is that our particular way of thinking and the way I'm an individual is somehow different than the way yours is. And in fact, jokes are kind of a universal elixir in pointing out that all of our thinking patterns are the same. Consciousness is not just yours, it's a universal. Thought is not just yours. The illusion is that you're an individual. And once you start to see that, you start having these breakthroughs in which you can have a lot of fun in life because you realize that you're not in charge of a lot of it. You're programmed by your teachers and other things. And also, it's a great way to drop into happiness. One of my favorite books is a book by the name of The Way to Love by Anthony DeMello. And in it, he says, you can be happy anytime you want, but you have to figure out what it is that's getting in the way of your happiness. And he calls those attachments. And he says, the typical attachment, it runs like this. "Oh, I want that new car. I want a house. I want the next job. I need a pay raise." There's just this really funny thing that has happened in our society where the real path to happiness is to learn to be one with everything. And the capitalist model is to get one of everything. And I just think that's a great way of flipping your personal aspirations into a product line where you just have to keep buying shit in order to be happy. And finally you burn out, right? Because you realize that it's been a con job the whole time and you say, "Oh, I've had enough of this." And but the teaching that's behind that is crucial, I think, because I don't think unless you've suffered enough that you finally get it in your head that you can't keep going the same way. You can't keep going in the store and asking for broccoli. In the same way, you can't keep using the same thought stream that you've used before to get you into the next phase of life. It just doesn't work that way. So you have to develop, I think, cultivate a a small community, to be around people and have some fun together, to think out loud about what you want to do next. You also have to play around with enjoying periods of silence and getting out in nature. That's one of my best balms. And the third thing is just to be of service to other people. There's no end of the suffering in the world, and you can locate yourself in a stream of people at any moment and see that you've got people coming towards you that could use your help, and you've got people that are downstream of you who have gone where you'd like to go, and you can connect with them and use them as teachers to help you get through the next step. I hope that's helpful, and hope you enjoyed that joke. All right, you take care and have a great day. Reach out to me at Good Nature Publishing in Seattle if you'd like to follow up. I'm happy to talk to you about whatever problems you're working on that you want to solve and have some fun doing it. Take care.